Hello there. I want to talk about something that is a hidden secret to success in hand tool woodworking. And that sounds like clickbait, but it's not. Okay? The title of this video is going to look like clickbait. And when I tell you what the secret is, you're going to think clickbait, but it's not clickbait. Okay? What I'm telling you is the truth. The hidden secret to hand tool woodworking is knowing how to sharpen your tools and keep them sharp. And you say, well, that's not a secret. Well, yeah, it is. It's a secret because we hide it from ourselves. We think it's hard to do when actually all we have to do is do it enough times and we'll learn it just like everything else that we do. Okay, but we think it's hard to do, and we think there's certain people that are kind of gifted. Sharpening is viewed a lot like music or some type of the arts, where we think that there are certain people that are gifted with innate talent that nobody else has or no one else can learn, and that mere mortals can't really do that. So we look for jigs and all kinds of things. One of the reasons that I have steered you away from jigs and into hand tool sharpening is because jigs are okay when you got two flat surfaces, like a flat stone or a flat substrate and a flat chisel or plane blade. But when you start talking about something like sharpening saws or sharpening gouges or sharpening microplanes and things of that, draw knives and all of that kind of stuff, that's a different story. And so I've steered you toward, on this channel, hand tool sharpener or hand sharpening. But see, we hide sharpening from ourselves. We don't think we're particularly good at it, and so we don't do it very often. We wait and wait and wait until the tool is so dull that it takes a lot to bring it back. Okay, and that's hard, and by the time we get almost an edge on the tool, we're tired of fooling with it. So we go on to the higher grit stones and just hope that it's sharp enough. We hide it from ourselves because we don't want to deal with it. We struggle with it. But the thing of it is, every tool in woodworking, particularly hand tool woodworking, is some type of sharp edge. Even sandpaper is cutting or abrading wood. Now, you can't sharpen sandpaper. You have to throw it away and get new sandpaper. But my point is that every tool pretty much that you use, except for the layout tools, and if you're doing dovetails and you're doing using a marking knife, that's another cutting tool. Everything in woodworking is about sharpness, is about something that cuts. All the tools that you use are cutting tools. It's one of the reasons that you see a lot of tool restoration videos on this channel. Number one is because I know that people have budgets that a lot of times don't allow them to buy the high quality tools that are out now for hand tool woodworking, and Lee Nelson and Lee Valley, just to name a few, and not to mention places like Blackburn Tools and Bad Axe Sawworks and a bunch of different people that specialize in making one specific tool, and they make it very well, geared toward the hand tool woodworker instead of geared toward the throwaway market. Quality tools. Okay, those things cost money because they were made to a certain specification that's no longer made. Most tools are no longer made to anymore. They're meant so people like you and me that like to do hand tool woodworking will have quality tools. The problem is, a lot of times you can't really afford that tool. But like I said, they're worth the price. Everything is an edge. And so what I do with the tool restore and rehab videos is to try to give you alternatives, looking at older tools back that were made when these tools that we use, you needed decent tools, and so the tools are of a quality that they will do the work, and you can get them cheaper and work wood. But coming along with that is the fact that if you restore a tool, you've got to learn how it goes together, how it works, and so you can put it back together properly, and how to sharpen it so you can use it. And that's sharpening and understanding how to sharpen your tools, not only to sharpen them, but how to keep them sharp, is the most important thing. If you do not have sharp tools, then you do not have the ability to work the wood properly. And there are some techniques like paring in grain and stuff like that that you might have to do that you're not going to be able to do unless the tool is sharp, properly sharp for that application, for that job. And the thing of it is even if you had an unlimited budget, or say you had the ability to save up, say you want to buy a saw, a quality saw, and you can get a quality, like a dovetail saw, or a back saw, or a hand saw, in between something like $90. I can buy a dovetail saw from Lee Valley with their Veritas saw, which I dearly would love to have, for 89 bucks. Okay. Or you could go to what people would call boutique tool builders, and they're not really boutique builders, they're just building quality tools the way they used to be built a long time ago. And people have forgotten that tools like that were made back then, and it was common, and so everybody says, oh, boutique. No, the man is just, or the woman is just applying their skill to their craft to build the finest quality tool for you to work with that they can. Okay? Which is what they looked for when hand tool was the name of the game. But I can spend, say I wanted to buy that $90 saw, or say I wanted to spend $200 maybe and get a Lee Nelson or some other some maker that makes it with the more traditional look and traditional handles and all of that stuff, you know, the traditional building techniques and all of that. Okay, and they're going to run you $220, $250 just for the dovetail saw. I ain't even thinking about, you know, a sash saw, a tenon saw or something like that, a carcass saw. Okay. They're going to run you some money. If you've got the money to buy them, then that's a good thing. And I would encourage you that if you can afford the best tools that you can afford, that's what you should buy. Whichever that is. If you have the money to buy high quality newly made tools, buy them. If you don't, look for vintage and learn how to restore them. Okay, but either way, it doesn't matter. I can spend all the money that I want. Let's take a handsaw, for instance. Like I said, let's talk about just a handsaw of some kind. A back saw, a handsaw, a dovetail saw, something like that. Well, when I get it from the maker, it's going to be sharp, right? What happens when it goes dull? Well, what happens is that saw might cut beautifully and be the most wonderful thing that you've ever held in your hands or ever passed through wood when you first get it. But what it becomes as you continue to own it is almost solely based on your ability to sharpen that saw properly to a sharp edge. Okay? It doesn't matter what you paid for it. If it's dull, it sucks. I saw a guy, he was comparing Western saws to Japanese saws, and this is kind of a pet peeve of mine. And I know that you can replace the blade on one of those. I don't like that idea in the first place. To me, that I want a saw that I can take a file to and sharpen. I don't have to throw anything in the landfill or try to find some place to recycle that metal if it's possible to be, if that metal can be recycled. Some stuff can be recycled, some stuff can't. And the honest truth of it is there are a lot of communities and a lot of areas in this country where recycling is not even a consideration still after all these years. Okay? So I don't like that. But he was trying to compare the two, and he said he liked the Japanese saw, and he liked the way it cut and stuff like that, but halfway through the video, he happened to mention that the saw was missing a couple of teeth, and it wasn't quite as sharp as it used to be, and it had been that way a while, and he just kept using it. Why? Because when we get busy working and doing things, the last thing we want to do is have to get on the website and order a replacement part for this or that or the other thing. So he used that saw well past the time when he should have replaced that blade, because he didn't want to fool with it. Okay, I'm not talking about he didn't want to fool with the mechanics of understanding how to sharpen that saw, because you can't. He just didn't want to take the time. He put it off and put it off and put it off. Okay, and as far as I know, he still put it off. Okay, because I don't watch his channel regularly. I was just browsing through YouTube. Okay? But the thing of it is, look, if I know how to sharpen a saw and my saw goes dull, in 10 minutes I can sharpen a saw and be back into woodworking. 20 at the outside, it's worth it to know how to sharpen that saw, to know how to sharpen my tools. Because there are the quality of the work that you're going to be able to do, the ease of the work that you're going to be able to do, the finesse with which you can do that work, and your ability to create true craftsman results, quality results, lies in how sharp that tool is, whatever it is we're talking about. So I said all that just to say this. Look, that's the secret to success, not only in hand tool woodworking, but learning the techniques of hand tool woodworking. The secret to it is sharp and maintaining sharp. You know, a lot of times people will put off sharpening. They'll be working with a plane or a chisel or something like that, and they'll realize that the chisel is going dull, and instead of stopping and spending 2 minutes, I know, oh, you can sharpen this chisel in 38 seconds. If you watch the video, it takes him a lot longer than 38 seconds or whatever it was, 37 seconds, 35 seconds, whatever. There's a popular woodworker on here that I like and watch his videos, and he's got a lot of experience, and he and no, it's not Paul Sellers, but I always watch anything Paul puts out, even if I'm not interested in it, because I love the man. He gave me the desire to work wood, the ability to do it, to understand that I could. Okay, but this other guy, he's also another popular woodworker and teacher here on YouTube, and he's got a video like 38 seconds or 35 seconds or something like that. It's sharp. But if you watch the video and separate his explanation and just watch him sharpen, it takes him longer than 30-something seconds to sharpen that tool. Okay, but not much longer, like a minute and a half. If I got a wasp or something trying to get me. Anyway, where was I? Yeah. If my chisel goes dull, if my plane blade goes dull, I can stop, and in 2 minutes or under, because I know how to sharpen that tool. And I ain't got to set up a flipping jig or anything like that, or run to a Tormek or some kind of powered system or guided system or whatever, because I know how to take these two hands and the mechanics of my body and sharpen that tool. I can get it done really fast and be right back to woodworking and get pleasant results, and that plane will go through the wood easy, the chisel will cut the wood easy, the saw will cut the wood easy, whatever it is. Okay, so I encourage you, find a method of sharpening, even if it's a guided method, and find a method of sharpening you are comfortable with and learn it. And when your tools start to feel like they need sharpening, Don't wait. Stop what you're doing. The old timers would sharpen 5 or 10 times a day, depending on what they were doing in an 8 or 10 hour day. Okay, they would stop and sharpen their tool. They would sharpen their tools first thing in the morning, and then they would stop when the tool started feeling like it might be losing its edge, and they would bring that thing back up sharp and keep working. And that's how these guys built all these things by hand, all this furniture and all these wonderful, beautiful things that we see from years gone by, because they knew how to keep the tool sharp. It wasn't just the technique, it was understanding how to keep the tool sharp and having a will to sharpen it and keep it sharp. That's the secret. Bless you. I'll talk to you later.